Welcome to Richard Raw's Daily Meditation from the Centre for Action and Contemplation. The theme for this week is the Rhineland Mystics, and the title of today's contribution, today being Tuesday, August 4th, 2020, is Speak Out. Author, spiritual teacher, friend, and fellow New Mexican Mirabai Star offers us a bit of a story about Hildegard's life with implications for our own lives today. Speak and write, the voice from heaven commanded. But Hildegard of Bingen, medieval visionary nun, remained silent. Hildegard was 43 years old when her visions finally became so insistent that she could no longer contain the secret that she had harbored since early childhood. The Holy One, identifying itself as the living light, spoke to her. It spoke to her regularly, its voice emerging from a swell of spiraling light. O mortal who receive these things not in the turbulence of deception, but in purity of simplicity, for making plain things that are hidden, the Holy One said that day in 1141. Write about what you see and hear. It was not doubt that held her back, Hildegard assures us. The voice carried such authority she was convinced its origin was divine. It was not a case of low self-esteem either, she says, nor a matter of worrying what other people might think. It was, she tells us, simple humility. Who was she, an uneducated woman, to proclaim God's message to humanity? But the more she resisted, the more seriously ill she became, until at last, she writes in her introduction to the Scivias, the first chronicle of her visions, compelled by many infirmities, I set my hand to writing, and rose from my sickness with renewed strength. We are not all prophets. It may not be our job to challenge authority and expose corruption. We may not be the ones to penetrate the code of sacred scriptures and feed the spiritually hungry. It may be up to others to sound the clarion call of impending doom, calling on humanity to change its ways. Ours may be a modest awakening. We may simply refuse to participate for another moment in a life against which our hearts have been crying out for years. It could be time to observe some version of the commandment to keep the Sabbath holy and begin to cultivate a daily contemplative practice. It could become imperative to curtail a pattern of overconsumption and make a concrete commitment to voluntary simplicity. It could be a matter of identifying the subtle and insidious ways in which we participate in our culture of war and take a vow of non-violence in everything we do, in every relationship we forge and maintain. Speak out, Hildegard says, and when you do, when you recognize that inner voice as the voice of God and say what it has taught you, the sickness in your heart will melt away. The fatigue you have lived with for so long that you did not even notice how weary you were will lift. Your voice will ring out with such clarity and beauty that you will not be able to stop singing. To speak your truth, Hildegard teaches us, is to praise God. Here ends the meditation for today.